Hey everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. Today we are going to be working with the My Favorite Winter collection from Echo Park. We also added on the cardstock pieces, the chipboard accents, the ephemera, and the enamel dots. And oh my goodness, I have a big helper today. So the collection kit includes this 12 by 12 sticker sheet along with 12 pattern papers. We are going to be making 6 single page layouts today, so we're going to need 6 background papers along with 2 accent papers. So last week we did 6 pages as well, but we needed 11 papers total. So this cutting guide is a little bit different. It requires a little bit less paper, but a bit more cardstock. And the photo areas, there's a bit more photo areas on the page, but the photos are a bit smaller. So when we go through our paper here, what I love about using the coordinating cardstock is that they're double-sided. So they are a different color on each side, which makes it really easy to choose papers in this step, just because we can choose which side we want to use later on in the cutting guide and when we're assembling our pages. So you'll notice there the back side of that darkest blue color is white, but it's actually like a white wood grain. So that's something to keep in mind if you are picturing it as being like a solid white cardstock. It's not, it's like a wood grain kind of pattern, but it's very subtle. It's not too bold to be put with these pattern papers. So because we only need 6 backgrounds and 2 accent papers, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate all of my journaling card papers, because if I have enough embellishments left, I may do a pocket page. I may do pocket pages with them. Okay, so I'm just flipping over the side that I like best. What I picture doing with this collection is doing mostly like a blue color scheme with maybe like hints of red. I don't want red to be my main focus, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick with my blues and just tie in that red a little bit. Okay, so now that I've flipped over all the sides that I like, the one that stands out the most to me is this snowflake paper. I feel like the white snowflakes almost pop off of that page on the top, and I think I'm going to go ahead and use this one as my first accent paper, just because I think it works well with all the cardstock, and I think it stands out really nicely on almost all of the rest of the pieces of pattern paper. Okay, now the next color scheme to me that seems to stand out above the other ones is the white background paper here that includes some of the font and a lot of the imaging that you'll see in the embellishment. So you definitely can't like pick both of these because they're so similar, but based on the back side of these, like if I were to flip over this paper later on in the cutting guide, I think I'm going to go ahead with the one that has the blue based background, not the one that has the red based background. Okay, so and because that accent paper, that second accent paper here that I just chose, because it like would not work with that other white font paper, I'm gonna go ahead and eliminate that as one of my background choices, just because we won't be able to layer that accent paper onto that paper anyways. Okay, because it would just blend in way too much. So we're going to go ahead and put that one to the side as well. So now I have my 6 papers that I have left here, and so these are going to be my background pages. We have cutting diagrams in my tutorial videos, and I just kind of want to let you know how to read them. So there's the number in top in inches, and that's going to be the size that we're going to cut that cut piece into, and there's a number below it in a circle. So a lot of the times we're making 4 pages or 6 pages when we're using these cutting diagrams, and all these cut pieces can sort of get very disorganized. So that number inside of the circle there represents a pile that you're going to put that cut piece into. So for a 4-page tutorial, we're going to make 4 piles. And for a 6-page tutorial, we're going to make 6 piles. So the numbers are going to be either 1 through 4 or 1 through 6. So page 1 is going to have all the cut pieces that have a circle with the number 1 inside, and so on for the 4 or 6 pages. So now we're going to go ahead and take all pieces of our cardstock, and we are going to cut 1 inch in, 1 inch from the top, and 1 inch from the bottom. And we're going to make a straight line on all 4 sides of each of these pieces of cardstock. What we're basically doing is cutting a 10 by 10 inch square out of the center of this piece of cardstock. The border is going to be put into our pile, and the center, the 10 by 10 inch center, is going to be put to the side, and we're going to be cutting it with another cutting diagram as soon as we're done cutting out all of these squares. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the backgrounds for our pages. So we are going to be cutting the barcode strip off along with 1/2 inch, and then 1/2 inch on the other side. So we're going to be making an 11.5 inch by 11.5 inch square for all of our background papers. So when I look at this page here, I want to immediately sort of create an area with embellishments to the left side of that 4x6 photo area, and also to the top of it, and to the right side of that 3x3 photo area. So those are kind of my main focuses when I really look at the page. And it's always hard starting your first page because you have so many things still to work with. But I wanted to incorporate some of the snowmen from the background, and I really wanted to use this square border die cut piece, but it was blending in with the background a little bit too much, so I decided to anchor it on top of this red piece of cardstock. That's actually the back side of my spare piece of 12x12 cardstock. I did cut up that 12x12 piece of cardstock into 4x6 size papers. I do that typically to prep for possibly using the leftovers of a kit to do pocket pages later. So that piece was already cut to a 4x6. I just cut it down again to a random size to tuck it in behind these photo areas. And then I popped up this titling on top that says, "Oh dear, winter is here," and I sort of put that in the middle of that blue border piece. Okay, and then what I did is I went ahead and I took this snowman sticker and I applied it directly to the page behind that titling that says, "Oh dear, winter is here." But then I popped up the top of it where the toque is, and I also popped up the mitts, so that it just creates another layered look by it popping off the page but yet being tucked behind that titling. So I wanted to do a little bit more at the bottom of this vertical 4x6 photo area. So what I did is I just cut out the end of that die cut that says "You Warm My Heart," and I just cut the end of it into a sort of a triangle piece so that it looked like it was like a little banner sticking behind the snowman. And I'm going to put a little bit more down there, but I'm just not sure what yet. And then at the top here I put this chipboard that says "Chilly," and I flanked it with this sticker that says "Hello Winter." It's actually like a snowflake, and I popped up the top of that "Hello Winter" but tucked in the other part behind that 4x6 photo area. And I played around with this tag. I kind of wanted to use it in a variety of places, but I ended up not really liking it anywhere on this page, so I just scrapped that idea and went with this bigger element that says "Warm Hugs and Lots of Love." And then I wanted there to be something else to it, so I just added these enamel dots to either end. And then at the top as well, I added some enamel dots and these two little birds. I popped up these two little birds to the top of that 3x3 photo area, and I flanked this whole cluster with 3 red pieces of enamel dots that just sort of form a triangle and finish off that cluster. For our next page here, again, we're going to have an element area underneath this 4x6 photo and at the top of the 3x4 photo. And we have a really white piece of cardstock there, so I really feel like you could do anything on top of this white piece of cardstock and it would stand out really, really well. For me, I chose this titling that says "Bundle Up," and I wanted to flank it with some pieces of chipboard. But then I decided to sort of stay with most of my colors on this page. I wanted them to stay blue and have only like some small red accents on the page. And so I tried to incorporate a lot of snowflakes and mittens and some skates. So for me, the inspiration for this page was just going to be some outdoor fun and about being warm and enjoying winter. And because I didn't really use red as a big focal point on this page, I decided to finish off some of these clusters with these red enamel dots because I felt like the red would really stand out against everything else. And I made sure to do it in a triangle format as well. I totally didn't notice it until watching back on screen here, but I actually screwed up in the cutting guide. So This accent paper number 2 here, which runs from left to right across the page, is actually supposed to be 10 inches wide by 2 inches tall, and I forgot to cut the 2 inches off on this accent paper. So that plaid paper there behind the truck, it's actually supposed to be only 10 inches across. But on my paper here, it actually goes right from the edge of the paper all the way to the other edge of the paper, making it 12 inches long. I'm going to go ahead and leave mine the way it is. I do, however, think it would look better if it was 10 inches wide instead of 12 inches wide. I think we get away with a little bit with it a little bit because it blends in so much with the background cardstock and with the background paper. So I think it's all right, and I'm going to leave it the way it is, but just for your reference, if you are doing this cutting guide exactly the way I'm doing it. So here I'm doing the opposite of the last page. I want to incorporate some red pieces to this page because there's those red flowers on the background paper. What I did here is I took that 3x4 journaling card and I layered it behind that truck and behind the 4x6 photo area and used it as an anchor to put a few more embellishments. And I just kind of finished off the rest of the page with some vertical accents and putting some other elements together. So this is just kind of a general winter page. It didn't really have any specific theming to it, and if you definitely wanted to put another titling, there would be a great opportunity to do that at the top of that 4x6 photo area. And there would also be, instead of doing this walking in a winter wonderland journaling card, you could easily swap that out for a journaling spot, like a 3x4 journaling area. So this page is our only brown based background. I love this winter fun titling, but I wanted to separate it. So I wanted to put fun at the bottom of that 3x5 photo, and I wanted to put the word winter at the top of this 3x3 photo area. And I just feel like when I look at this page, the clusters and where I want to put my embellishments, I kind of want to start them around my photos and work my way out and sort of gravitate from the center of the page out. I don't feel a need to have my embellishments touch any of the edges of the 12x12 paper. I like how everything is sort of gravitating towards the center and gonna center around the photos. So I wanted to incorporate these penguins this time just because the background paper uses them in a nice fun way. And I wanted to put something else on top of this word winter. So I decided I wanted an element that was maybe like that wood color and like that wood grain. So I found this sticker here that was a nice small size that said snowman winter, hot cocoa sweater, happiness. Just some nice general fun comments to add to this page. So this page is not really overdone, but I feel like it has good balance, so you don't need to add a lot to it. This page, however, I struggle with a little bit. I like it when my pages are sort of balanced on their own before I even start with embellishments, and I like that they sort of have separate areas to put clusters in and to focus what you're doing. But this one, I feel like you got to create that balance on the page. I'm not really as good at working in straight lines like this, so it's definitely the page that I don't like to do first because I struggle with it a little bit more. So here I'm decided to use what really helps with this layout is that the background is so it's not busy. It's kind of like all one color. It's very subtle, so you can really put embellishments on top of this kind of a background without too much trouble. So I decided to use a large accent because I find using the large accent sort of gives you an easy place to start. And it says, "You make cold days warmer." I decided to incorporate the dog and the cat on this page as well because sometimes we take like family photos with our animals, or my daughter will take like nice selfies with her cat, things like that. So I felt like this page was going to kind of work really nicely for that, and to incorporate some of the more endearing comments like "I love you so much," "There is no one like you." I thought that was really cute to incorporate with like family photos and also with like our family pets. Okay, and then I just use enamel dots to kind of finish off these areas again. And I think that the top needed maybe a little bit more, and I'm not sure if I should have done this or not, but I added this word snow, the snow banner to the top. I might take it off. I'm not 100% sure if I want it there yet. It doesn't necessarily like add to the theme. It's just kind of there. So for our next page here, this is another one I kind of struggle with. It's not a page that really balances out itself out on its own, but it does have like the most picture area, I would feel like. So this is a really great layout if you have lots of pictures. So for me, for this page, this is kind of just like a general enjoy winter kind of a page, candid winter kind of pictures. And I wanted to incorporate a little bit of a red focus there with that 3x4 journaling at the bottom that says hot chocolate, warm up and get cozy, and then to incorporate some of the leftover snowmen. And then I decided to swap out this 4x4 photo area just because I didn't personally need that photo area. If you do want the photo area, what I would do is probably take this red cardstock, or take the background from our spare paper, and I would mat my photo with the leftover red pattern paper. That way it made that 4x4 photo area pop off the page a little bit more, and I would probably take my 4x4 photo, just like this 4x4 journaling card is, and tuck it behind that 4x6 photo area, just to make the page seem a little bit less linear. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's tutorial, and I'm not sure if I'm going to make a journaling card video using this collection. There wasn't quite as much left over as I was hoping there would be, but I will be doing one soon with an upcoming collection no matter what, because I do need winter pages done in my 2012 album. So I will definitely be getting around to that at some point. I'm just not sure with which kit yet. But regardless, we will see you guys next Friday with a new tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great weekend.